So, this is where it all happens, I guess. You see, in the New York family, this is where all the best laid mafia plans happen, in the kitchen. Hi, I'm Joe Sabatino from Actors Reporter, and sitting alongside me is a gentleman by the name of Sal Polisi. And Sal has written The Sinatra Club, and basically the Sinatra Club is about Sal's life. So this is going to be a very, very interesting interview. So Sal, how you doing?
Good, Joe.
Now, I got a question for you. How did you come up with this concept of the Sinatra Club?
Well, I mean, this is a place that I created in 1971.
Oh, really? Okay, true story. Okay.
True story. I was a hijacker and a bank robber at a young age in my 20s with the real Tommy DeSimone, which was played by Joe Pesci in Goodfellas, and a whole bunch of mobsters in and around Ozone Park, associated with John Gotti and many of the guys that people didn't know. Wow. So we had this little place that we would gamble in at nights, and before you know it, we had all types of people coming from around the city gambling, because luckily we started to invite or attract a lot of drug dealers with a lot of money at that time in 1971. So they had lots of money, and it was big poker pots. So a lot of people showed up. Instead of 3 or 4 guys, there would be 30, 40 guys playing around the clock. And it was the winter of 71, and we started the game at night, and when a snowstorm happened to come by, we just stayed in there for 30 hours. And then before you know it, people knew this this little place, which was really unknown. We had lots of Sinatra records in the jukebox, and we named it the Sinatra Club. Was just a great place to go and gamble.
Now, let me ask you, so this place that you named the Sinatra Club, were a lot of the members from the other organized crime families coming down here as well, or was it just for like one organized crime family? Originally,
I was connected to the Colombo crime family, and at that point, the families didn't interact. However, a few months after I opened it, John Gotti came out of jail, and he was a friend of ours. He came over, he started to gamble with us, and he decided he would invite many of his friends from the Colombo and Gambino family. Then we realized, well, let's invite a few more guys from another family. There was a war going on, and yet it was a place where we could come in and really be able to interact with all guys from different mob families without the threat of violence, because we had said no guns allowed. Lots of money, but no guns.
And no bullets.
No guns, no bullets.
Because guns and bullets, kind of gets a little kooky. That's fantastic. So now you're in the New York mob, one of the families, and you're doing your thing, and then there comes a time where, as we say in New York, you get pinched.
Oh, I got pinched many, many times from that time, which was 71, 72, all the way up to the 80s. And organized crime was changing, much like America was changing. The social values were changing. And I went from becoming a robber to a drug dealer. But eventually I got arrested in 1984 for a large drug case. I had 2 teenage sons, and I didn't want them to follow my life. And I decided maybe the thing was to do was switch sides.
Really? Okay, cool.
Which was extremely dangerous at that point.
Right, I could imagine. So, and it's at that point in your life where you then, did you go to jail, or did you go in the witness protection program?
I never had to worry about going to jail, because I had most of the cops in our neighborhood and judges, we were on the pad, we could pay them off. I didn't go to jail, but I did testify against Gotti in one of his racketeering cases, and then the government put me in the witness protection program in 1984.
And so now, so you were in jail, so now are you still in the witness protection program, or how does that work?
Well, once the government puts you in, you're in there like forever. They sort of give you another identity. Of course, in this case, because most of the guys that I associated with have died, there's really very little chance of violence. But I do have a new wife and new family that I started about 18 years ago. And since that time, I came to Hollywood. I met one of my buddies from New York, who was a famous writer, Mardick Martin. He wrote Raging Bull, Mean Streets, New York, New York. He took me under his wing and taught me how to write.
Fantastic.
20 years ago.
Now, here's an interesting thing, that now, from having, this interesting life that you have, and we were just talking with Jamie, and he was saying how the FBI is working with you guys on this project with tapes and accounts of incidences that happened to make this such a rich story. And reading the script, I got to tell you, this is going to be a very successful project. So what is your What's your goal? Do you guys want to get this into the theaters? And I understand there was some talk about possibly spinning this off into a TV series.
Well, basically, we think it's a rich project that has, you know, the last touches of the way organized crime was in the 70s, and to repaint that in 1970, I don't think there's many people left that could, you know, recreate it the way we did. So yes, we'd like to make this thing come out to where it would be a theatrical release.
Right.
But we already have some little spin-offs. We have a couple plays written. We have another screenplay written, and I think there's some potential that it could become a series.
Fantastic. Now, you've had such an incredible life. I mean, here you are in organized crime, go to jail, in the witness protection program, and now you've come full circle, and here you are in Hollywood, Hollywood, California. So what have been your, you know, if you had to, I guess, reach out and, you know, now you deal with actors and producers. I mean, what would you say to people out there about if you want to do some acting or producing? What's been your experience?
My experience was I was really an actor in the old life, but my stage was the street. And when I robbed banks and hijacked trucks, I got one take. This is a harder business. This is a tough business. You better have thick skin. But if you get a vision, like I had for the Sinatra Club almost 15 years ago, you have to stay with it. As long as you stay with your vision, meet the right people that can polish it up and help you get it, you know, to the screen, it's all worth it.
Wow. You know something, Sal? This is fantastic, and I want to just thank you for taking time out of your shooting schedule, because I know you guys are just, you know, busy as all heck downstairs, but I want to thank you very much. And Sal Polisi, and this was just a great interview.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming down.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We loved it, and you're Italian, so you know what this is about.
Yeah, sure. It's all good. But anyway, Sal Polisi from the Sinatra Club.
Thank you.